This South Winneshiek Coach Conversation brought to you by Fidelity Bank and Trust in Ossian and Kilmer, Dave's Collision Shop in Ossian, and Becker Hardware in Ossian. The football schedule is set for the fall, and here with Southwind football coach Jason Ohrt. And this is kind of high school football's Christmas morning, if you will. You agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always fun. It's an exciting time to get that schedule out, just to get an idea what the layout's going to look like, where the home games are going to be for the next cycle, and so forth. So yeah, we're obviously an exciting time for us.
And the structure of Iowa high school football obviously has changed a little bit from top to bottom, and that means new opponents for you in a district this year, but familiar opponents at the same time. What were your thoughts about a month ago when the districts came out?
I was a little surprised. I thought that we would probably stay a little bit more centrally located as opposed to heading southeast. But it's an interesting challenge. We're going to have some teams on the schedule, such as like Northland, Mac Valley, Bellevue, just to name a few that we just we're not used to, don't know much about. And it's going to be a good opportunity for us to see some new teams and see what they can do and what they bring, and so build a little bit of excitement. But it's also nice to still have some of the conference teams. Clayton Ridge, we're still able to play them, and we're able to get North Fayette Valley non-district, so that's nice too as well.
And when you went about choosing your non-district opponents, what went into the opponents that you wanted to see those first couple of weeks?
Well, we definitely wanted to keep the North Fayette Valley game. That's a big game for both communities, and it's so close locally, and just makes the most sense. And then continuing to play with Wapsie Valley is good for us too. It's kind of been a rival for us now about the last decade, and every time we play, it's a good football game. So, and it gives us an idea of where we kind of will stand in Class A overall at the midpoint in the season as well, having that game later on.
And when you look at the schedule, does your approach to its season change at all based on the schedule and based on the district that you're having? Or is it pretty much straightforward that, hey, we got to take care of what we want to do?
I think the biggest thing that you look for is, well, what's the postseason going to look like this year? That seems to be something that just hasn't really been consistent the last few years from the state. Hopefully now we're going to have some consistency with that, back to having 32 teams qualify. So I think first and foremost, before you start looking at what you're going to do non-district wise, you need to see what the ramifications would be if you were to lose a non-district game, and how much that's going to hurt you. And now having back to the 32 qualifiers that allowed us to play a more competitive non-district schedule without being punished for it. And that was huge for us, because we've always wanted to play every year in, year out. We want to play a tough non-district schedule. I think it helps you get ready for the postseason, and it also helps you get ready for those big time games within your district. And not having those punish you as much if you were to lose those is a big factor in the decision making when you make those priority lists.
And really, I know sometimes we lose the focus in our industry, but this is still education-based athletics. It's about taking what you got and building week by week and getting better, just like you do in the classroom, just like you do in life. And I think having that margin for error built into the schedule is overall good for high school football.
It is. It truly is. And I think if you look back to the years that we had the 32 qualifiers, I remember a season that we finished 8-1 and ended up getting third out of our district. And in some seasons that doesn't get you in, back when there was only 16 qualifiers. And I just think that if you finish 8-1 and share your district title, you should be able to play at least one playoff game just to see where you're at, and fortunately for us that year, that was a year that we had 32, and we went on and we made some noise in the postseason. So it's good for kids. Bottom line, I don't know if having everybody advance is something I'd be completely in favor for, but I've always liked the 32.
And you look at your team, obviously a very talented senior class graduating last year, but some good kids coming back and a lot of opportunities for some kids to fill some spots too. Is that a fair synopsis?
Yeah, Darren, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I really like this group. I think we'll just leave it at that. I really like this group for this coming fall. There's a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. We're getting ready for Warrior football, and I'm excited what they're going to bring to the table.
And you really look at it from an entire athletic department end of things. Things rolling in a lot of sports at Southwind right now, and that just kind of helps everybody else out, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've had a really successful season. You look at the big the sports seasons in general here this whole entire school year during COVID. You look at the big picture with all the things that we had to deal with at the beginning of the school year and the uncertainty that the kids had, and being able to compete well in each of our programs respectively has just been a blessing for everybody this year.
Well, 123 days, I believe, until football kicks off. Not that anybody is counting at all, but always
No, of
fun to
course not.
preview. Always fun to preview the high school football season, Coach. I know you got some throwers you hope to get down to Des Moines
Yes.
here in the next few weeks, but nonetheless, football will be here before we know it. Thanks for taking the time this afternoon.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Jason Ohrt, head coach of the Southwind Warriors.